Hey everyone, Matt here. I just want to take a quick look at how you can use form in a couple different ways as far as sound design and pick out a few of the extra little tricks you can do. And in this one, we're going to make kind of a repeater bass, kind of this interesting modulated sound. Kind of this nice industrial bass. And so what I do is I have an initial form loaded up. And let's go get that same file, because actually that first bass was just the same boring sample form. And somehow we turned it into that wacky sound. So let's go in there and grab it again. Put these on your desktop, drag them right in. It doesn't matter how you're going to do it. Form. All right, so I got it in. And let us truncate. Doesn't even really matter because we can use the truncating however we like. Now,
Form.
it sucks. First thing you want to do is flatten the pitch. If you're going to use this for more of a rhythmic element like this, you don't want any of those kind of vocally type sounds. So flatten it.
Form.
And track the format right away. So no matter what key you hit, it's going to kind of stay the same. And then first thing I'm going to do is going to kind of pitch it down because we want a bass sound. Now, immediately, let's start to destroy it. FM. Multiply. Use the stereo to kind of put this out of phase just a little bit. And what else from there? Let's go ahead and add some effects. So we want to drive this a little bit. We can shape it. Kind of be nice to get a nice mid-rangey type of thing. And then let's drive it a little bit. I love this cheap reverb. Kind of sounds like a bad spring reverb. And then a little dynamics just to keep everything in check. That should be fine. Okay, next thing we want to do is really tweak out the motion editor, because this is going to allow us to kind of create a very interesting sound. So since I know I want a nice rhythmic repeating bass, I'm going to put this at BPM. Let's actually start to sync this or loop it. And now once I'm inside of here, what I can do is actually just split. And split again, and split again. So this would be nice 4 even time divisions now within this loop. Okay, now immediately try adjusting the shape. And not just the shape, but the length of how it's going to scan through the sample. Okay, so that's a good start. It obviously sounds like crap still. Next thing we want to do is actually come back to the sound and adjust the additive osc, which is going to be the modulator for the frequency modulation, because we'll get a better sound when we raise the octave here. So it's a little sharper and everything. Okay, now here's the big trick on this one. What you want to do is use this complex motion modulation and actually assign it to anything you want. It can be a modulator for anything. And pretty much anything in form can be modulated just by clicking under here. So let's go to the cutoff, and now we'll come to the macro section, at which point you can see motion curve. With the motion curve, let's pull it down, and now we'll get that complex rhythm happening on the cutoff frequency. So right away now, we can start to go back in and play around with the curves. And there we go. We're dialing in some kind of rhythm. And again, what's cool about this now is we can come into the sample and actually kind of constrict it. And wherever you move it, you're going to get a different sound based off of that. So what else can we do here? Let's see here. Probably want to add some macros to give it a little more flavor. So in this initial first patch, let's go back. I assigned about 3 different macros, and what's cool about this is I just assign one to the amount of FM. So it's affecting the FM. We can do one like the spectrum here. And what that's doing is just barely raising the octave of the additive oscillator, just to give the FM a different kind of flavor or different tone. And with this third one, which I've labeled modulation, I'm just kind of moving the frequency shaping bands around. And then, of course, you can modulate this and automate this inside of your DAW. So that's a really good idea. The other really slick thing that you can do is, lastly, I'll show you, you can come into the curve editor. And while you're not going to see the changes here, you can still freely assign MIDI CCs by right-clicking on the shape, which is always a good one. MIDI learn and then turn a knob. And more importantly, now look in the motion editor. You're not going to see it on the complex curve editor, but you will see it changing in the motion editor. So now when I play with this one, you can see what playing with the curves will be. Let's MIDI learn another one here. And just play around a bit like that. Create different textures and automate that just like that. So really slick. Again, it really doesn't matter what sample you throw into it. You can immediately destroy it and turn it into something else, at which point, sky's the limit. It doesn't take very long to get a really cool kind of sound out of that.